Welcome back to the Boss Courtside YouTube channel, as always on the 9.
I'm Kayla.
And today we have a special guest.
I'm Thea.
Thea, welcome to the show. Wow, oh my God, I don't even know why I did that. I never do that. I don't know why I thought today was the day to switch things up. Welcome to the show, the couch. All right, now tell us a little bit about yourself. Your school, grade, how's school going?
I go to John F. Kennedy. I'm in 10th grade, and school's going horrible.
Why?
Because distance learning is hard, and I want to quit.
We're in the same boat right now. I'm over it.
What is the hardest part about it?
I don't understand anything because my teachers don't know how to teach over the camera, and my teachers also kind of suck.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there anything you're liking about school right now?
I get to sleep in.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's a plus.
When does school start?
10.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Wow, that's crazy. Micah, my sister, I'm pretty sure she starts at like normal time. Like 8, 7, I don't know what time, but early in the morning.
When you had Kenai saying that he was on here like up real early in the morning and in a uniform.
Oh yeah, they have
So-
a uniform.
Yeah.
What?
Mhm.
What is the purpose of that?
I don't know. Especially because you're at home. He literally has uniform on the top and then like basketball shorts at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm. But 10, that's nice.
Yeah.
So that's
that's
way to
nice.
find the silver lining.
Yes.
So how's lockdown been for you?
Also not great.
Wow.
I'm sick of being at home. And, there's nothing to do. I've exhausted all of the things to do at home. I've watched every show, watched every movie, done every craft I could think of.
Do you do
play with
puzzles?
your brothers, or?
No, my brothers are so annoying at this point. I just want to strangle them sometimes.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
What shows have you been watching?
I watched a bunch of Netflix originals. They were really good, but then they ended super quick because they didn't film another season, so it was kind of sad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you get emotionally invested, and then they just end,
Yes,
and there's
that's
no
the
hope.
worst.
Yeah. Which doesn't make you feel better.
No, it doesn't at all.
Yeah, I get that. But the upside is now all the holiday Netflix shows and movies are
I
gonna
don't
come
like
out.
any of those.
But they are always so happy.
Yeah, but I don't like happy things. Happy things aren't entertaining.
This is probably why quarantine has
I don't like happy things. I've never heard that in my life. I don't like sad things.
So
but
do you
music.
not, is it that you, it's not that you don't like happy things, it's that you don't like predictable things?
Yeah, when it's happy, I know it's gonna happen. Everything's gonna be okay in the end. But see, I like this show, the series of unfortunate events, because it's just sad. It's how life actually is, and everyone dies at the end.
I see.
So I don't know if you've heard, but the church actually provides prayer and therapy if needed. So
We have it over the phone, we have tents outside on
Yeah.
Sunday morning.
prayer. I don't know if you've ever heard of that term in a church before, but we provide. So it's just food for thought.
Professionals, prayer professionals.
Yeah, right, professionals.
Yeah.
If you ever need it,
They got a direct line.
I think you need it.
Yeah, maybe.
Just saying.
Maybe just a little bit.
I'm just saying. Just putting it out there.
But man, I think shutdown and quarantine has been trying, to say the least, on most people. I think I've exhausted just about every show I want to watch on Netflix by this point. I'm branching out into Hulu now.
Yes.
I logged into my sister's Disney Plus. I'm going through it. 'Cause it's hard right now
Mhm.
for everyone. And it's hard for different reasons. Everybody has their unique struggles right now. And I think a question that is on everybody's mind or in the back of everybody's mind is the idea of how do you lean into God, or how do you trust God when everything is hard? Because it's really easy to trust God when everything's great. When your life is perfect, or you feel like your life is perfect, you're God is on my side. Clearly God is right here, and everything is blessings are flowing. Like, this is great. But how do you trust God or still have faith in God when it feels like God is so far away? So, what do you think?
Well, I think like you just like with other things, you just gotta believe and keep hoping that something good is going to happen. And when that good is happening, it's obviously gonna be God showing you that He's still there. He's still like looking after you, and He still cares about you as a person.
What do you think?
I think you just do it. Like, at times I'll find myself, falling into, I don't know, a sad, dark place, like the shows and movies that Thea watches.
And fall into a series of
literally a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
And I would talk to my mom and be like, this is stressing me out. I don't know what to do about this. And she's like, well, just pray on it. Have faith that, God's gonna work everything out. And I'm like, I don't know. I tend to make excuses of, I don't know, things not ending up working out the way that I would want it to. And I think it just comes down to sucking it up and shutting up and actually just doing it. Like, a lot of people would be like, well, it's easier said than done. It's really not. Just do it. Like Nike. Not sponsored.
Not sponsored by Nike.
Not sponsored, no.
There's a book of the Bible that I talk about a lot in youth group. It's one that you can sit down and read in one sitting. It's really short. It's called Habakkuk, and I love it because I think it talks so much to times like this, times where it's so hard to trust God because it seems like there's no hope. And I think that's something that a lot of us have been feeling. Like, I remember when quarantine first happened, when shutdown first happened, and everybody was like, it's going to be 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks came and it was like, it's going to be 2 more weeks. And then that month was over and it was like maybe another month. And then it was like maybe by the end of summer. And now it's like we're in November, right? And so it's like when it feels like there's no hope, I think those are some of the hardest times to trust God. And the book of Habakkuk is literally all of the prophets in the Old Testament. There are these books of the Bible where the prophets are speaking because there are horrible things happening. They're coming down and they're talking to God about how they are seeing things in the streets that are awful. Like, they're seeing things that, like, we cannot even speak to. Like, we think we've seen bad things. Like, we have not seen the kind of things that these prophets are talking about in the Bible. And they're, like, letting God have it in some of these instances. And, like, the book of Habakkuk, literally, he's, like, yelling at God, being like, God, do you even see what is happening in the streets? Like, are you even aware of the death? Are you even aware of the destruction? Does it matter to you? And then God responds. And they have this whole conversation, and the whole book of Habakkuk is a conversation between him and God, being like, look at the despair in the world. Where is there hope? And if you look into, like, if you're a Bible nerd like me, you like look into it even farther, and Habakkuk's name actually means embrace. And it's this idea of, like, you can embrace the struggle sometimes, and those moments where there's no hope, those moments where you're like, I've been sitting up in my house since March. My little brothers are driving me crazy. My siblings are making me nuts. My parents don't even understand me. They don't get what's going on in my life, but they're sitting across on the couch from me. How do they not get what's going on in my life? My homework is overwhelming. I don't understand chemistry. I didn't understand it in person, but now I really don't understand it over a computer screen. That makes it so much harder. The Bible doesn't make any sense to me, and I can't even be in person in a youth group to be able to, like, ask the questions that I want to ask. Like, when everything, like, what is happening in my streets? People are getting killed. Like, all my questions are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, the Bible deals with that stuff, and it doesn't just put a bow on it. It doesn't just say, like, oh, look, everything is fine because you have God. It actually says you can embrace that struggle and you can, like, have it out with God sometimes. And God wants to be in those conversations with you. And I think that's how I have faith in these, like, more difficult times, is knowing that I don't have to pretend it's all okay. Because I know the moments that I try and pretend it's all okay are the moments that I go down the fastest. Like, when I sit and I'm like, everything's great, then I'm like falling apart. But God does not ask that of us. God lets us embrace the struggle like Habakkuk. He lets us argue and be like, do you see what's happening in the streets? Do you see what's happening in my home? Do you see what's happening inside of me? Do something about it. And though that doesn't answer all of the problems, it gives me hope that like God cares enough to be in that kind of relationship with us. And that's how I can have some kind of hope where I can continue to trust when it seems like there's no end in sight, which is kind of honestly how it feels right now.
For real.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think?
I think you just,
Yeah.
summed up everything.
Let me get off my soapbox for a minute.
I don't think we need to say anything after that.
Yeah. But God like will let you argue. Yeah. You don't have to pretend like everything's okay. And I think any relationship that makes you pretend like everything's okay isn't really a relationship worth being in. That's definitely not a relationship God wants to have with you. So when you're having a hard time in school, when you're having a hard time with your relationship with God during this time, that's a conversation God wants to have with you. It's not something that you have to airbrush. And I think that is how I have hope when everything around me looks like a dumpster fire and smells like a dumpster fire and is just, you know, the general vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say after that. You pretty much just took it and ran with it.
Sorry, I haven't been able to be up in front at youth.
I was just about to say,
I miss the preaching.
So when you preach, you preach.
Thea. Along with the list of struggles that Nanai and I have trouble having faith in, there are 5 questions. 5 very, very important questions.
You know what? We should actually come up to God with these questions too.
We should.
He's next.
God is next.
Yes.
God is not just king for a day.
Right.
But Thea, I told you Quea. Because that's Queen Thea. That's in one word.
Quea.
Queen for a day. Will you be queen for a day and solve all of our lives' questions?
Sure, I guess.
Do you
Are
really
you
want to be
confident?
queen for a day?
Yeah, that's a lot of power. I don't know.
It is a lot of power, but we're asking you because we trust you.
Okay.
All right. First question. Of all of the words that we have in our English language, which one would you get rid of for a day? Moist.
Moist is gone.
All right.
Get out of here. Okay, what about this? There are lots of sports in the Olympics that require a lot of athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
We think there are 3 that maybe can go. You get to choose which one.
Okay.
Synchronized swimming, curling, speed walking.
Speed walking.
Common answer. Common answer. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No, definitely not.
Okay, this is your time to redeem yourself. There is a common expression used to express the sentiment of, we're going to wait and see how this plays out. But we've heard it both ways. Which one is correct? Play it by ear. Play it by ear. Or play it by year.
By ear? Wait, ear. By ear.
I told you she
We
was
knew she was
gonna
going to.
Wait,
take the
what?
comeback.
What?
No, Quea.
No more Quea.
What? Who says play it by ear?
I don't know.
I've never heard anyone say that in my whole life. Wait, what?
We do.
What does that even
You're
mean?
different. Anyway, so
Last question.
if you could reboot any TV show, what would it be? Or if the TV show is already rebooted, which one would you get rid of?
I don't know. Maybe like The Office. Maybe?
Oh my gosh. That's a good one.
There you go.
Wow, that's a good one. I've never thought of that.
No, nobody said The Office. I guess you can have your crown back.
Yeah, that was a pretty good answer.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, yes, for being Queen Thea for the day.
Kind of sounds like quail.
I know.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Well, I guess that wraps up today's episode, starring Queen Thea. And, make sure to do the usual, like, comment, and subscribe. And until we see each other again, until we meet again, whatever.
We won't meet again.
We won't meet
We're
again.
on lockdown.
For I don't know how long. So until you see us again.
Yeah, right here.
Peace.